lovelies, welcome back. Hello, welcome to Paris. Today is a day in my life as a marketing student in Paris. It is actually my last week of being a marketing student in Paris because my final big exam is this Wednesday. So after this Wednesday, I'm no longer gonna be a student here, but I just wanted to show you guys what it's like to be a student in Paris in July. So today we're gonna go to a library so that I can study because I spent the past week studying at home and it's kind of getting to my head. It's just really not the best for my mental health to spend so much time at home. I'm stressing unnecessarily, I think, so I have to go out and see some people and go to a library to study. So I'm going to Bibliothèque Sainte-Geneviève in the 5th in Paris, and then I'm gonna see a friend after that. So I have some motivation to finish studying today. Last point before we start. I'm filming this video on my new Sony camera. It is the Sony ZV-1F. If you see any difference in the quality, it's because I'm filming this video with my new camera. I'm testing it out. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna keep it. It's very small compared to my Canon M6 that I usually use. It's a change, we're gonna see. So if you're someone who's curious about this camera, keep watching this video. We're gonna go and study, so let's be a student. And let's be a good student and study and prepare for my exam, so bye. How the hell do I turn this off?
I still recall the first time I saw you. I was so nervous to talk. Happened so fast. Went from so lonely to falling asleep in your...
So I just finished, guys. I'm leaving now to meet my friend, and I'm already late, so let's go.
Came a bit late, so when I arrived, the food wasn't here.
And you ever wonder if days like these last with one another, with the feeling pass? Would you find out with me if it all starts to crumble?
Interesting. Hello guys, welcome back. So it's actually the next day. Today is Tuesday. I wanted to continue filming because I feel like I haven't filmed enough yesterday. Today is gonna be very similar to yesterday. I'm still in the process of revising and memorizing a lot for my final exam. So today we're going to another library to revise and study and work. But before we do that, I ask you guys on Instagram to ask me questions about student life in Paris. I wanted to make this video a little bit more informative for those of you who are interested in studying abroad in France. So I'm gonna answer a couple of your questions that you asked me on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you can do that by clicking here. Okay, first question. Which places would you recommend instead of Paris in France as a foreign student? So I actually don't have any experience in studying anywhere else than Paris, but a lot of my friends studied in cities such as Lille, Nancy, Rouen, Grenoble, Marseille. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. These are very like student-friendly cities that are probably a lot cheaper than Paris. Honestly, I don't think that there is a city that's expensive as Paris in France for students. But again, I never studied anywhere else other than Paris, so I can't really know. But I hope this helped anyways. Where do you find friends? Is it accepted to walk up to people and ask them to hang out with them in France, I guess? Honestly, I wouldn't just walk up to people and ask them if they wanted to hang out with me. I don't think that's something I would personally do, but again, I'm
quite an introvert, so I don't think that I would do that.
Facebook groups, online groups, Instagram, TikTok, or even like university parties. Like I know that a lot of universities does like on-campus parties and events. Any of those options. I don't think that you should walk up to people in France and ask them if they wanted to hang out with you. We're not in the States, we're not in the US. I don't think that French people would appreciate that, to be honest.
Yeah, don't do that.
Which SIM card and bank account is best for international students in France? Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to getting a SIM card in France, it's kind of tricky because to get a SIM card in France, you need to have a bank account number. But in order to have a bank account number, you need to have a SIM card. You need to have a French number. So what I did when I first moved to France 4 years ago is I got a SIM card with a company that didn't need a French bank account number, and that company is called Free. Yeah, Free is great if you don't have a French bank account number, and once you have a SIM card, you can get a French bank account number. There are many banks like Crédit Mutuel, Société Générale, BNP, many different banks. So depends. Do your benchmark.
Honestly, do your benchmark, do your research, and
find one that fulfills all your needs. Is there any coffee or grocery store that provides students discounts in France? Grocery stores don't, and cafes neither. However, there are quite a lot of, I would say, like fast food chains that give students discounts in Paris, especially in like student areas like the Fifth. I know like sometimes when I go to Subway, they ask me if I'm a student, and when I tell them that I am, they give me like a 10% discount if I show them my student ID. So there are a couple of like fast food chains that do that, but not all of them, and you will mostly find the ones who do in like student areas, like typical student areas. Is internship something which we do side by side besides studying? From my experience, when you do an internship, you usually don't have classes. If you go to university and you do your bachelor degree or your master's degree, usually in the last year of your bachelor or master's degree, you will have to do an internship. Like it's usually obligatory in France to do an internship in your last year of studies. It might be an internship of 6 months, 4 months, 2 months, a year. Normally when you do an internship at university, you no longer have to go to classes. You only have to focus on your internship. When you have classes at the same time that you're working is when you do an apprenticeship, which is what I'm doing right now. So I'm working 4 days at a company and 1 day I'm at school. So I have both classes and university. But if you just do an internship, not an apprenticeship, you only have to work. Normally. That's like the general idea. Does scholarships also pay for flight tickets in France? Honestly, I don't think so. I think the only case where your company would pay for your flight ticket is if you would do like an apprenticeship and your company really wanted to work with you, then maybe they would pay for a ticket, but for an internship, I honestly don't think so. Can international students get easily into medicine? If you speak French, yes, you can. If you don't speak French, I'm not sure how that's gonna work. I was doing consultations with like students who wanted to study in France. I had a lot of students who wanted to study medicine in France, and it's quite hard. Like, I wouldn't do it. The application process is so complex, and it seems to me that in order to study medicine in France, you really have to be fluent in the language. So I think if you're fluent in French and you're an international student, you can get into medicine. It's not gonna be easy, but you can. If you don't speak French, I don't see how you're gonna be able to get into medicine in France, because I think in France they only teach medicine in French. So I mean, you can still try, but yeah, it's better if you speak French to be age. As a woman, can you go outside at night in Paris? What areas should one avoid? Honestly, I receive a lot of questions from you guys, like being very worried about like nightlife in France. Honestly, it's not as bad as it seems. Like, Paris is definitely not the safest city in the world, but it's also not that extremely dangerous, I would say. Literally, like, the police is everywhere in Paris. Like, there are all the time policemen going around, strolling the city. So yes, of course you can go out at night. Which areas should one avoid? I mean, the north of Paris kind of has the rap for being more of like a dangerous area in Paris, and I do agree with that. Also, I'm not a huge fan of the 19th and the 20th in Paris. But the 11th also can be a little bit tricky at night, but honestly, as long as you pay attention, you take care of yourself, and you're smart, and you're with people, and you're paying attention, you should be fine. Like, Paris is not as dangerous as it seems from the news and everything. So I think that's the end of this Q&A, and now we're gonna go to the library so that I can keep working and studying and revising for my exam. So I will see you guys later. Bye.
Did you find it? What you were looking for? Shuffling